everyone, it's Nikki and welcome back to Live a Little, your cozy corner of the internet where we talk about all of the in-between bits of life, the messy parts, the unfiltered parts and the honest parts, especially when you don't necessarily feel like you have someone to talk about them about, and we do that all judgment-free over here. Happy New Year! It is currently the 1st of January, which is scary. Very scary thought. 2026. That is kind of gross and surreal to say at the same time. I don't know where the past year's gone. It's that cliche of like, God, the year's flown by. But when I say I feel like I blinked and this year was over, I really mean it. Normally by the end of a year, I'm like, I feel like I've had so much self-growth and development and I'm a different person from January compared to December. But this year I feel like, no, I'm the same. I don't really feel like I've changed at all, which isn't a bad thing. It's not like every year you should like force yourself into changing something or feeling like you have to evolve every year. You don't, and that is a toxic mentality. Growth is always a great thing, and we all have to grow, and we'll be growing and continuing to, should I say grow one more time? Grow. We all need to, evolve as a person year after year to just learn new things and pick up new things and learn more about ourselves. This year, there is not one new thing I can tell you that I feel or anything. A new year can be a very exciting thing because it's, a relief of like maybe, I don't know, if 2025 for you was not a great year in whatever way that may be. You feel like it's a fresh start. I believe that like every day is a fresh start, but I think a new year really like solidifies that. But equally, it can come with a lot of dread and a lot of pressure, and there's this quiet heaviness around it of like, what am I meant to do now? Or what should this year look like? Or why don't I feel more hopeful or excited about the year ahead? And there's a lot of, I think it's very, very easy and understandable to dread the start of a new year. The end of the year to me is, I love to come up with silly metaphors, but if I were to compare it to like a metaphor, it's almost like climbing up a mountain, and you start a year in January at the bottom of a mountain, and then you finish like the year in December near the top of the mountain, and then it's almost like when a new year comes around, you're starting from square one again, like you never climbed up that mountain. And I think that can be a great thing because it's a new, it's a fresh chance, it's a new possibility, it's new. But equally, I think there's something that can be really scary about that and really frustrating and really worrying, I guess. And so I just want to say, however you are feeling about 2026 being here, all of those are valid. And if you don't really feel like there's people around you that are dreading the year ahead or maybe are excited for the year ahead, there 100% is both. You are not alone in that. There is also no wrong way to spend your new year, whether you spent New Year's Eve alone at home at midnight or under the table eating your grapes, if you know, or if you were out drinking with your friends or just doing absolutely nothing special and treating it like another day. However you spent it, I hope that it felt right for you, because there is no wrong way to spend a day like New Year's Eve. But because it's a new year, as we like to say, and everyone likes to say, fresh start and all of that, I wanted to kind of talk about the things that I think are in and out for 2026. This is both maybe mindsets, or it's trends, or it's, I don't know, just topics. Basically anything that has been in my mind that I've written down that I think will be in for the year ahead and be out. And these are more like not necessarily in general in society, but also for myself, what is in and out for me. So I wanted to kind of start with that to start the year ahead softly, and not with pressure, not with rules, not with a personality overhaul, just a bit of fun. As I've spoken about, do not set New Year's resolutions. I find it all a bit stupid. And if you do, love that for you. Have goals, gives you motivation. It's a great way to start your year off, to start it productively or positively. That is great. And it's always good to strive for more. But I find New Year's resolutions to actually be quite detrimental, because if you don't do those things, you kind of feel like a failure, you know, as big as or small as they are, whether it's, I don't know, a job promotion or making a bit more money or getting into a relationship. They are kind of then measurements of how successful you were that year or your year was. And so I feel like it can be quite a negative thing. And so of course I have internal, like, subconscious hopes for the year or things I hope for myself, whether it's like, you know, to be a bit happier or to spend more time by myself and on myself or whatever it is. They're subconscious, but I don't want to make them a proper thing, because I think that's when things get a bit more negative and a bit more toxic, and everyone loves to just be like, new year, you need to grind, you need to get up at 5 a.m. and fucking work. And I just think that's not the right mentality. That's just an exhausting mentality to start your year off with. So yeah, this isn't about me changing who I am overnight or anything like that. It's basically my ins and outs are essentially what I want to move towards and what I want to leave behind, you know, this coming year. It's not new year, new me. It's same me, just a couple of new or not so new things. Okay, so to start my ins for 2026, my first one is shopping in person. I feel like shopping in person is a dying thing. We all shop online now, and look, I get it. I don't actually remember the last piece of clothing I bought in person. I actually don't, which is really sad. Because it's more convenient. You can bulk order a bunch of clothes and then try them on in the comfort of your own home and send them back. We then just like overconsume so much because we just have everything on a screen for us to choose from. I am guilty of ordering a bunch of stuff that I know I'm going to end up sending half like of the order back from. I'll actually order more with that intention. And it's just such a waste. It's also such a slog. You then need to like pack it all back up, send it back. It's actually not easier in the grand scheme of things. And I feel like you can shop so much more intentionally and more minimally if you go into a shop, you feel the material, you try it on. I don't think any of us would buy the same amount of stuff that we do if we actually actively went into a shop and saw those things. But there's something about buying something online that feels like air. It's even like, if you tried something on in a shop and it didn't fit you quite right, I would be much less inclined to then buy it. But then if I order something online and then I try it on and I'm like, oh, this doesn't actually fit right, it's too long, it's too wide, I will just then have to go and get it altered and keep it for the sake of it, rather than being like, no, this actually doesn't fit me, I'm not going to keep it. And so I think it's really important to buy more intentionally, and I think a big part of that comes from shopping in person. Do I love shopping, like what shopping is? No, I find it like tiring and boring and I don't enjoy it. But I think you can be more present in what you're actually consuming when you see stuff in person and touch it and feel it. Like, you will know if something's itchy already before you buy it if you feel it and you try it on in a dressing room, rather than waiting 5 to 7 days to receive the clothes and then try them on and then being like, oh no, it's not what I thought it was going to be. You can just go in and out and that's it. It's actually more convenient than we think online shopping has become. So that's my first thing. My second thing is the cinema over streaming. I love the cinema. The cinema is such a happy, special place for me. It's one of the few places that like I feel calm. I look forward to it. When I had a massive surgery a couple of years ago and was in recovery and out of work for like 4.5 months straight, I felt so underconfident going anywhere, like literally anywhere, even just walking outside of my door, and actually even just at home in my room. But the one thing I would do is, I think I literally saw every single film that was at the cinema over that period of time. It was actually in like December, winter time, and it was a really hard time. But one thing I'd look forward to is I'd sit in a dark room, so didn't feel so insecure about my appearance, and I could just watch a film and escape for 2 hours. And I think it's also such a nice thing to do with family and friends or a date. And I just love watching films. I love watching new films. There's something about like getting your popcorn and getting a drink and like all of that. It just reminds me of my childhood and is so nostalgic. And like, as much as I appreciate that streaming is, you know, convenient and it gives you access to more, and I get that a cinema ticket can be expensive, if you can help it and if you can do it, I think choosing to go and see a film on a big screen, there is nothing like it. And I think it's a shame that like cinema culture has kind of like died, you know? I feel like it's not really a thing that people do as much anymore with their friends, whereas growing up it's like, oh, should we go to the cinema? there's like exceptions to the rule if like certain films are really popular, say Wicked this year or last year, and bring people to the cinema. But it's like once in a blue moon. And I think just going to the cinema should be a pastime that people do more often. And I think also supporting like local cinemas and being off your phone is so important. It's actually very unlikely that you're ever going to watch a film and not look at your phone once. And that's a known thing because now people, when they're creating shows or films for like streaming services, they write scripts with the intention that you're not going to be fully watching it, which is a mental thing to have to think about. And so I want films to feel, and going to the cinema to feel like an event again, so you can fully enjoy it, fully be present and escape. That's what the whole point of watching films are, is escape and not background noise. So that's my second one. My third one is coffee dates over dinners. It's less pressure. I don't like eating. Like when I'm meeting someone new, I feel really awkward. It's like they ask you a question and then you've got a mouthful of pasta. Like it's uncomfortable. It's messy. I love a coffee date because it's longed out less. You're not feeling awkward about what you order or how you're eating or whatever it may be. A coffee date is good. It's in, out. You can do it during the day, which I much prefer. I just prefer doing activities in the day so much more than in the evening. I like my evenings are sacred to just like me, myself and I, and just doing nothing and not going out and not seeing anyone, especially in winter. And so coffee dates I love, whether it's with friends or it's for actual like romantic dates, whatever it is, like that's my favorite way to catch up or speak to people. So more coffees, like sat down coffees, more walk and talk and get a coffee, more daytime plans is what I'm all for. It's lower stakes and I actually feel like you have better conversations because you're like there's less pressure around it. So yeah, the last date I went on was a coffee date and I will, stick to that because much prefer it. Fourth one, less clean girl, more creativity. I feel like creativity, especially in makeup, has kind of died a slow death in the past year or so, past couple of years. And this clean girl, minimal thing, less is more, has really become a thing. And do you know what? I think that's important because makeup has become more about enhancing than covering, which I'm all for. But equally, I feel like along the way, then the fun and the expression in makeup has been lost. Like, when do you ever see someone wearing a purple eyeshadow walking down the street now? You just don't. But had this been a few years ago, you would just have seen your next door neighbour with a cut crease and false lashes on. And I think that is so fun. And actually, Zara Larsson, the singer, has been on tour recently and her makeup artist has kind of like gone viral because she's been creating such fun, colourful, creative makeup looks on her that I'm obsessed with. And it just shows you there is a place for it. And makeup for me has always been about expression and always been about creativity and the magic of it, and is like an art form like any other and such a skill. And so it's about time we started treating it like that again. Makeup can be to you whatever it, I think everyone's experience with makeup and perception on it is so different. But for me, it's always been creativity first. And so I want to lean more into maximalism and more fun colours and more weird and more experimentation than just like bit of concealer, bit of blush. That's it. That's great. But I miss like the era where just wearing purple lipstick was a normal thing to see. So yeah, makeup is supposed to be playful and expressive. So let's reignite that. Okay, 5. Handwritten letters and handmade gifts. I love the idea of the sincerity of a handwritten letter or gift, notes, postcards, whatever it may be. I think there is something so beautiful about just doing anything with your hands. And I feel like we're in a time where we type and we text, we use our hands in that way more than ever, but using them to like do something with love and care, we do less than ever. I actually wrote like a piece on Substack recently, which is about like how birthday cards or like get well soon cards or just cards in general are like a dying thing, and they're sort of the last love letters we write. But I think like instead of texting someone, I love you and I miss you, why are you just not sending them a letter? Even if it takes them a few days to get there. I think there's something so beautiful about that, and it's kind of like a moment frozen in time, and it's such a special thing to keep, and it's so sentimental and beautiful. I am such a sentimental girly. I keep every card, I keep every note I've ever received, and so more of that, please. Please, we need more, because I'm gonna go insane if I receive another 100 birthday messages instead of a card. I love a card. And I think bake something, write something, paint something, just do something you can hold and that is physical as a memory and as a moment, instead of doom scrolling or texting with your thumbs, you know? Okay, 6. Talking about Substack, I'm obsessed with Substack. So Substack, I feel like, is reviving my brain cells, one brain cell at a time. If you don't know what Substack is, it's basically where people can write essays or think pieces or something that's more deep and introspective, or what gifts are on my Christmas wish list this year. It's such a mixture of things. It's almost like a social media of blog posts, but with a bit more depth, that are kind of like news articles. You can really just post whatever you want on there, but it's all writing. And I've always loved writing. I've always been obsessed with putting pen to paper, and I'm a deep thinker, as you can tell from Live a Little. So I've always loved writing, and I feel like ever since leaving school, I barely ever write because there's no need to. And that's such a shame. And I feel like it's so important to exercise those parts of your brain, like writing and reading and just learning more. And so for me on Substack, I've read so many thought-provoking pieces recently, like how being hyper self-aware can be quite detrimental at times, and so many other things, and how a mundane life is actually sometimes the best life, and so many thought-provoking things. It kind of feels like a written form of what Live a Little is, as a podcast, and I'm absolutely loving it and just loving having a space to share my writing, even if it's just for myself. So yeah, love Substack. If you don't even want to write on there, but you want to read and you want to do something in your morning instead of going on your phone when you're commuting to work or whatever it may be, honestly, get Substack. It's free, it's amazing, and I'll be posting more on there. So yeah, why not follow me? It's really earnest and it makes you feel less alone in your own head. Okay, 7. Low budget indie everything. Music, films, art. I miss when things were a small budget and someone was up and coming, and there's a real excitement when you watch something that isn't perfect. And I feel like there's been so many hyper massive budget films recently, or tours or things like that. And I think there's something so special about an intimate concert or an underground artist, or a film that's had a small budget and isn't perfect in a crisp, clear video. I think there's something really special about that. And I love the imperfection in it. And so I miss original ideas as well in film. I think there's been a lot of franchise made stuff recently. And I just want to see more art and more expression in ways that are not, meant to be, even meant to be for money. They're all low budget. And I think that's the best part of it and the magic of it. Okay, I'm going to try and get through these a bit quicker. Nurturing nostalgia. Going back to old hobbies, letting myself enjoy what I loved at 12 or 6, because healing doesn't always look serious. I think so much of healing can feel very therapy to heal my younger self, is to open up traumatic things that have happened to me. But no, healing yourself and doing things that are healing can be, I don't know, doing a puzzle, or just connecting with your younger self and the things that they once enjoyed. When I was younger, I was obsessed with arts and crafts. And I feel I cannot tell you the last time I sat down in recent years and just coloured in. Just because. Why not? And I think it's so important we do those little things to connect with the younger version of us, just because that is a massive part of healing. It doesn't have to be talking, it doesn't have to be therapy, it doesn't have to be deep and introspective and heavy. It can literally just be doing little things you once loved and reigniting those passions and exploring them just because, or doing something that you've always wanted to do when you were little and never got to, and trying it because you're never too old. Next one, friend traditions, game nights, friendsgiving, standing plans. the hours you spend in a group chat could so easily at times be spent together. And I know sometimes it's really difficult, especially as you get older, like insanely difficult, like working out a maths problem, to find a day where you and your friends are all free. It's actually insane how difficult it is. It needs to be studied, I swear. But I feel like having these dates to look forward to, almost like a Christmas or a birthday, where you're like, okay, on this date, we are going to do this. Even if it might change, even if someone may not be able to go, it's something to look forward to. And I think we all need those little tiny moments of joy and things to look forward to. And it's an excuse to get together physically and do these things and have these conversations in person rather than on text. And I love a games night. So instead of playing a phone game, play an in-person board game with your friends. Next one, walking anywhere, alone, with friends, with your pet, whatever it may be, just walking. I'm so embarrassed to admit, I barely hit 1,000 steps a day sometimes. My Aura ring is making me so aware of how little I exercise. Look, there's a part where I actually can't do much exercise, but I sometimes feel like I use that as an excuse. I'm like, oh, the doctors say I can't exercise, therefore I shouldn't exercise. And like, a hot girl walk is important, and I don't leave my house unless I have to. So a hot girl walk is non-existent. But I think it's even like such a nice like way to spend your day. Message your friend, are you free for half an hour to go for a walk? And that is the way you can catch up instead of doing the same old thing. And that can be where you have a little coffee date too. And so for me, I think walking is not only great because like it's a nice way to catch up, but also walking and getting out of your house and seeing daylight, especially when I have a job where I don't need to leave my house, is so important to get your body moving and to get fresh air, even if it's not that fresh in London, but fresh air like in your lungs. And that is actually a massive thing that people say is like, I was listening to Mel Robbins' podcast and she was saying like, when your alarm goes off, don't check your phone, just get up and get moving, because that is what will start your day the right way. And so even if it's literally walking around your garden, like doing anything, just get your body moving. And so for me, I just need to move this year in whatever way. Okay, next one, replacing doom scrolling with something else. A bit like what I said about like Substack or colouring in, just doing something else instead of this with your finger. Whether it's like learning a poem a day or a poem a week or learning the capital city of a country, like something that's so little but will make you feel a bit like fulfilled and like you did something or learned something new. I love learning a new bit of information or a new fun fact that then I can tell other people. And I feel like I don't know enough about the world. I have zero general knowledge. And so I basically just want to like learn more about things I don't need to know about, but that are just interesting and enlightening. And so that is what I want to do this year, is just learn new things, even if it's tiny, even if it's stupid, just because, instead of doing this. Anything that gives back and is actually like exercising my brain. I just need to do more of that because I feel just like I don't use it at all and it's not good. Okay, final in. Volunteering, doing something that has nothing to do with me and giving back. Giving time without expecting to get something in return. I feel like we're all so busy in life. We have such a grind culture and we're all in our own bubbles in life, which I completely understand. And it's hard to be aware of what's going on around you or aware of your privilege in some ways. But I really, if I want to do anything this year, that I also feel like more people should be doing because it's cool and it's hot and it's great, is volunteering. Whether it's at a soup kitchen, especially in winter, or it's at a women's shelter or a homeless shelter, or just doing more charitable things. I think it's so important to do something that is bigger than you, to remind yourself to, you know, check your circumstances and check your privilege. And of course we can all go through things, and it's not to basically make yourself feel bad that people have got it worse, but I do feel that we're all quite selfish these days, not because we mean to be, but because life is so hard, it's harder than ever, that we really just can't see outside of our own lives because that's just all we have capacity to like do and capacity to like live through. But I think it's so important to step outside of your bubble and yourself in order to, realize that there's other stuff going on outside of you, and giving back is so important, and not, doing something that isn't transactional, just doing it to be a decent human. Okay, outs. Dress codes. Dress codes stress me out so much. Not dress codes in like, oh, smart casual or like black tie or smart or whatever it is. Dress codes like only pink or golden glamour. The amount of silly dress codes that I've been told on an invite before for an event, and I get it, it's a bit of fun, it's like a costume party, but it's not a costume party. I feel like it's really silly to have to feel like you have to go out and buy a pink dress because you don't have any pink in your wardrobe and everyone else is going to be wearing pink. Like, just let people whatever the fuck they want, and just like, so long as they're wearing this sort of same vibe, like smart or casual, that's good. We need a bit of like direction, but other than that, just let people live. I think dress codes for me I find stressful and like silly when you're just going to wear that thing once and it will then just sit in your wardrobe unworn. It just feels like such a waste, and I'd rather be comfortable and wear something that feels like me. Okay, 2, being easy to understand is out. I'm okay with being a bit hard to read. I'm okay with under-explaining myself. I've been such an overcompensator and over-explainer my whole life because I'm worried for people to read me wrong or to be misunderstood or whatever it may be. And honestly, I am okay with not seeming simple and not giving people every in and out of how I'm feeling or thinking, or I'm just okay with not over explaining anymore, because it was something as simple as like, I've said this before, like if I haven't replied to a text, I feel like I need to then over explain why I haven't replied, and it is okay to just reply when you do and not have to explain why. And so I'm okay with not being so easy to figure out. That is okay, and keeping things to myself. Okay, 3, self-diagnosing yourself on the internet. Not every mood or trait needs to be self-diagnosed. Just because you have a headache does not mean that you have a bigger, deeper health issue. By all means, it's really important to be self-aware of how your body is feeling or what you are thinking. And some of those diagnoses that you see online might align and might be right, but not every single person in the world has ADHD. Not every single person in the world is dyslexic. And I think that can be incredibly damaging and toxic to the people that actually are those things, and really throwing these words around and saying you have these things. It's the same with like being tidy and saying you have OCD. Like, I know it's not with bad intent, but it's actually really damaging, and it's really important we don't chuck these words around or apply them to ourselves if we actually haven't been told we have them, whether that's mental things or physical things. And so sometimes you are just tired or overwhelmed and you have a like short attention span because you're human, not because you have this bigger or deeper thing going on, or because I feel like having these things have become trendy, and that is a problem. So that is what I want to say about that. Okay, number 4, diet culture. I think it would be hard to miss that this year there has been such a big influx in especially celebrities who have lost a lot of weight. And I want to be very sensitive about this topic because I used to have an eating disorder when I was younger. I was anorexic when I was younger. And I feel like body types and appearance have become trends. And it is so incredibly damaging, especially to young, impressionable people, seeing people they look up to, say a celebrity, lose a really significant amount of weight. And I completely agree. You never know what's going on in someone's life, whether it's in their physical health or mental health or their life. Maybe they've lost someone and haven't been eating because they're grieving. Maybe they've got a chronic illness that you don't know about. You never know anything. And so I think it's so important to never comment on someone's body. But equally, the amount of people that have just suddenly lost weight this year is not, it's not just happened because, it's not just a coincidence. It is a problem. And so I think food is not a personality trait and bodies not trends. And if I'd have seen the, ways people are looking this year when I was in my really toxic anorexic mind state, I would have found it really, really, really damaging. And so I just want to enjoy food and enjoy sitting at a table and it not become about calories or weight or body checking. I think we all just need to do better, especially celebrities. So that's that one. Next one, core everything. Fitness core, Pilates core, clean girl core, grind core. I don't want to hear the word core in my entire life ever again, unless it's about your actual core. Like, I don't want to hear about it. Or an apple core. I don't want to hear about it. Why does everything need to be defined by a name or an identity. Some things are just things. Why can't something exist without a core being applied to the end of it and it being put into a box? It's the same as like, I don't know, strawberry girl makeup. Why can't it just be makeup with a bit more blusher? Like, I don't get it. And I get cores are fun, cores, you know, things like ways to apply yourself to things and like make, you know, trends fun, but we don't need everything to be a core, because I think you then really lose your sense of identity. Like, I remember in 2020 Gorp core, which was like people wearing like outwear, like really baggy tracksuit bottoms or like cargo pants, and that was Gorp core, or tech fleeces. Why can't something just exist without it needing to be clubbed into a trend? Ballet core. I've had enough of it. Like, just let everyone live and have an identity without turning it into a micro trend or core. Okay, next one. Celebrity worship. Look, I love pop culture more as the next person. Like, I know everything about everything in pop culture and I don't need to. But I just think when you start putting celebrities on a pedestal, it can be really damaging. And what I've learned through, especially being in this industry and having a tiny bit of, you know, fame in my small way, celebrities are just humans, and it's okay and great to be a fan of someone's work, but don't put these people on pedestals and hold them to a higher regard than yourself, because they were human and they were born the same way as you were and a human just like you. You know, they're made of the same things and are made of the same parts. And of course you can be fans of people or aspire to be like them, but you shouldn't put people on a pedestal because they are no better than you. And I think when you start doing that less, things affect you less, and then you don't compare yourself and your life and what you're going through or your appearance to someone else that you know nothing about. And I think parasocial relationships with celebrities can just be quite damaging outside of just being a fan of the work they create. Okay, next one. Buying things before finishing what I own. I don't know if you've heard of Project Pan, but it's basically this idea that you need to hit pan on mainly a makeup product or a product without buying a new one. Like I said, overconsumption is such a big problem we have. It's just buy instead of use. And I'm not a fan of minimalism. I think it's a really chucked around word. And like, it's nice to have things, but equally, why do you need 3 bronzers that are the exact same color? Finish one and then get another one. It's just silly. It's a waste of money. And it's just, unnecessary. So I think using things fully is really oddly satisfying to be like, oh, I finished that. And it's really self-explanatory. Just, I want to finish something before I buy something new and appreciate that product as is. Okay. Wired everything. Wired headphones. I don't know what else is wired, but I am the biggest ride or die for my wired headphones. And I feel like I listen to things more intentionally with my wired headphones. And I feel very like early 2000s with them. One less thing to charge, which is really nice and stressful when there's like 10 things in a day you need to charge. I need to even charge this ring. And I just love a wired headphone moment, and I love listening to my music and my playlist with my plug-in headphones, and love that there's no Bluetooth connected to them. Last couple of things. Fake urgency. I hate how it feels like everything needs to be right now, right this minute, or it's gonna disappear. It's even for me, I feel like if I miss a few days of posting on social media, I feel like tomorrow my whole career is going to be gone, which is just me catastrophizing. But I feel like everything is like quick, now, needed. We're in a time of life where everything is just instant gratification, instant replies, instant texts. We're not in an age of like, we always have connection to each other, which I think is really damaging, and everything's instant, that it becomes less fulfilling, and it also becomes incredibly overwhelming and overstimulating. So less fear-mongering, fake urgency, please. The things that are urgent, just let them be actually urgent, and let the other things just do them when you can. Okay, saving things for later. An outfit that you're like saving for a special occasion, wear it. A candle you're too scared to burn because it's expensive, just burn it. So long as you're enjoying those things, that's what matters. Just stop saving things. Life is short in an existential way, and you never know what can happen tomorrow. So just stop saving things and start using them. Like, you know, today could be your last. Last couple. Abundance. I think having a boring life has become this, like having a life that's simple has become something that is boring, and it's like we always need to aspire for more in job, in life, in relationship, in materialistic things. Why can't we just be? I think abundance can be really damaging, because when there's no end to abundance, there's no like end in you know, you can always have more in every facet of life. you will never be happy and you will never be fulfilled. And it's like a board game where the levels never end. And I think abundance means that we're never actually grateful enough for what we have and appreciative enough. And so I think abundance can be a very damaging and slippery slope. So more isn't always better. If anything, it's actually the opposite, because when you have more, you will continue wanting more. And a simple life, actually, I think is a beautiful one. And we need to just make peace with mundane being something to aspire to have, actually. Okay, final one. Having a good side. I am so, I completely get if there's a certain side you're more comfortable posing with, in a photo. But I just think the idea of having a good side is just if you don't, pose on the side you're more happy with in one photo, so be it. I think obviously I very, clearly have a side that is good versus not good. And whenever someone's asked me oh, do you have a good side you want to stand on? I mean, I'll always say my left side facing outwards because that's what I'm more comfortable in. But ultimately, I just don't care. It's the same as say a friend does you dirty and posts a bad photo of you. It's not that deep. It's fine. Of course, it's annoying when they look insane and you're you've done me really dirty here and my eyes are half shut and I'm squinting. This isn't fair. Or you've edited yourself and just left me as is. But this whole good side thing and hyper posed thing, I'm not into. I think candid is cool, and not, aesthetically moving things around is really cool. I am just retiring the concept of good sides, and I've never really played into them anyway. So my little thought of the week is, instead of asking yourself, what should I change this year? Which can be a really stressful question to ask yourself instead, what do I want to feel more of this year? Because that can mean a lot of things. Maybe you want to feel more peace, more joy, more freedom, more safe. And let that guide you. What do you want to feel more of inside? What do you want to fulfill you more in? Rather than what do you want to make it more of an internal thing rather than an external thing. And I think that's what will make you, even if you don't necessarily achieve certain things, will make you feel like your year was still a success. You just honestly getting through a year is a success and making it to the other side, because we live in an age where it's harder than ever to live. Honestly, it's really, really, really hard to be human. So your success was just getting through the year. And for that, you should be so proud of yourself. So just let feelings guide you this year, not external things and comparative things. So finally, if you're listening to this and you're not bursting with excitement and, really, really looking forward to 2026, I get it. I feel the same. You're not behind. You don't need a reinvention. You don't need a glow up. You just need time, and you just need to give yourself a break. Do not compare your 2025 to someone else's 1%, and do not do the same to yourself this year. This year doesn't need a different version of you. It just needs you. And just be exactly as you are. We're all figuring it out and just trying to work out how to exist in a world that's ever changing and always adding more stress than ever. Just give yourself a damn break, and I do really hope this year is full of positivity for you and that it is kind to you. So with that being said, as always, be kind to yourself, because that everything starts there. Start your year with a bit of compassion for yourself. And as always, you know the saying now, say it with me, live a little.